Hey everybody, Shane here, Shoebox Legends, back with I think my second video in 2 days. Getting back to my old school video a day pace from the early days of the channel. Not something I expect to keep up with, but I had a little bit of extra time here and thought I would get on and get another video up because I have some great budget buys that I want to look at today, and also a care package that I got in from a good friend of mine here in the hobby. And we're going to start with, I'll get right into it, a couple of cards that I used on the Ball Card Banter episode that I recorded last month with my buddy Brent over at Brent Richards and Baseball Cards. Starting with this one that you see up in the background, I want to get this card its moment on my channel as well, from the 1978 Topps release initially, and then reissued in the 2020 Topps Originals buyback program. This is a beautiful Ron Guidry Gator. And of course, the reason I went after this, aside from the great auto, the great photograph, this represents a monster season, his 25-win 1978 campaign. So I loved running across that card. And as I think I said when I showed it off with Brent, I paid less dollars for that card than Guidry had wins in the 1978 season. So definitely a bargain pickup there. And then a couple other quick ones that I did show off when I was on with Brent. Here's a great Grady Sizemore. This is the Topps Chrome Red Refractor, and I apologize for the glare in here. Kind of mid-morning or late morning, have a lot of natural light coming in. But a great card here of a player that you don't really hear very much about any longer. Had a very, very short and kind of uneventful stint in Boston, trying to work his way back from injury. I always think of him as a Cleveland Indian, but I love this team color match Red Refractor, high-fiving his fellow teammates here, presumably after like a home run or a significant hit. And the Reds back in 2014 were numbered to 25. So copy 2 of 25, just a fun, cheap pickup to fit today's theme. Then next up, I have this one. This is the last of the previously shown cards from Ball Card Banter, but this is from the Topps Batman release, the Red Bat release in the 1960s. But as you can tell, it's a miniature-sized card, and that's because it's the A and B C Batman release, which came out overseas, over in England. But this is my favorite overall Batman card because it has a baseball theme to it. You've got Robin here throwing the ball, catching the Cobra right upside the head. He's dropping his sack full of money from his bank heist here. And then you've got like the bunting and the stadium background, even a baseball player back here. So I love the crossover here between the vintage Batman cards and the sport of baseball. And now let's get into some newer pickups that I've made here. And this one's going to be kind of funny. I paid $1 for a base card from 2023 Topps Baseball. I got the regular plain old 2023 Topps, the base Aaron Judge. Million of these out there. This is probably worth about 5 cents or just free if you can find one, but just wanted to pick this up because I do love the base card. It really gets lost in the modern hobby, and I get it because, you know, they print 1 million of them, they're readily available, and so if you want any type of challenge or hunt, you tend to go after the parallels or the more rare versions, but I like the continuity, you know, with Topps base cards going all the way back to the early 50s, you know, right through to present day. You know, in the same way that somebody pulled that Ron Guidry base card out of a pack back in 78. Somebody pulled this one just a couple of years ago. And of course, I picked this up primarily for my Aaron Judge home run record collection. And it fits because I already had his 2022 base card in that collection. And then the Legends Variation short prints that they did, and apologies again for the glare, in 2022 of the previous 2 AL home run champs, Babe Ruth and Roger Maris. And these are a good transition into the little stack that you see in the background there. So these are, of course, the Legends Variation, Photo Variation short prints. Topps did this program in the flagship set from 2009 through 2022. So this is the final year that they did these. And they were, you know, different levels of rarity in terms of how tough they were to pull, but they all featured incredible photography of the greats of the games past on the current day's Topps flagship design. And I ran across this little stack of them in a COMC, you know, not yet processed box as I've been cleaning up here. I figured I would batch them together. They still have their, you know, receipts in the top here. Probably paid anywhere from under $1 to maybe $3, $4 at most for any one of these, but I really enjoy these. So we've got a Pensive Mel Ott to start us off on the 2022 flagship design with that great New York Giants logo. Awesome card there. How about a Smiling Carlton Fisk? I've said it before and so have many others, but he seems like someone who just did not get a bad looking baseball card in all his years in the hobby. But I love that Fisk. We're going to do the COMC Crumple here. Shout out to my buddy Josh Peeps, who will be featured at the end of this episode or in a little bit. I've got a trio of Jackies next here. So here's the 2017. Looks like he's halfway between third and home. About to get into a pickle here. Got the 2022. Celebrating with a couple of teammates in the clubhouse. Love that photograph. Again, these are just a fun way to get kind of a challenging Jackie card that there aren't a million of, but yet still affordable, you know, $5, certainly $10 and under for most of the Jackies. Here's a really fun one from 2019 Topps. I love this design. Just showed off a couple of cards from this set or parallels from this set in my last video. But this one features a great photograph of Jackie signing for the fans. They've used this on a Stadium Club card as well, and maybe a couple of other places, but I really, really dig this one. Happy to add that one to my small Jackie Robinson collection. Here's a fun one. Ted Williams in this odd-looking automobile. I'm not a car guy, so I can't identify that, but a pretty cool shot there. And then we've got Johnny Bench signing for the fans. I'm a sucker for like a card that features a player signing autographs, and this one is killer. I love the afro on this guy too, and the glasses. Like, that is killer. This had to be like, I don't know, maybe mid-70s, early to mid-70s, but great bench card there. And then my favorite of this bunch, can't believe I haven't shown it before, but this well-known shot of Nolan Ryan. And again, shout out to my buddy Brent with the Astrodome clearly in the background, the roof there. Love this photo. Reminds me of a couple of other similar photos I've seen over the years, but to get it on the flagship design, in this case from 2021 Topps, it's just really, really cool. This one might have been maybe about $5, $6, something like that if I recall, but great Nolan Ryan there. We'll put him up in the background. Moving on, have another cheap modern pickup here. This was under $10, and it kind of correlates to what we looked at a moment ago with the Aaron Judge card there. Picked up the 2022 Topps Chrome Sapphire Edition. This is just the base card, ungraded. I put it in this nice one-touch magnetic with a Superior Fit sleeve over it. Dresses it up nice and pretty. This was like, I think I mentioned it, like an $8 card, something like that on a best offer. Sapphire, obviously the print runs on this stuff have gone up significantly over the past 2 years, or maybe even 4 or 5 years now. But I love this product. Recently thought long and hard about going after a red to 5 of this that surfaced on eBay, but it was a comma card, and in the end I just couldn't justify spending that amount of money on it at this time, and it did sell. But I love the base, and I got this one for the same reason that I got the 2023 base card. It completes my pair now of home run record related Topps Chrome Sapphire cards. 2022, the year that the record was set, and 2023, where he got card number 62 in the set to commemorate it, and we see the stats on the back. And then even from the World of Sapphire, also got the leaders, home run leaders card from 2023 that directly commemorates that feat. So finally, you know, no real excuse why it took me so long to complete that trifecta, given that these cards are, you know, readily available and not expensive. So finally just buckled down, spent the $8 and crossed the 2022 off the list. We'll put that one up in the background here. Great shine on those Sapphire cards and very, very affordable. I got 2 hockey cards here, and then we're going to go back to baseball to close it out. I'll keep it quick, but these definitely fit the budget theme. And I actually picked these up recently. My wife and I have been going to a lot of pro soccer games here in Rhode Island. We have a local club now, RIFC, that plays about 15 minutes from us. They're like the level below MLS, but a beautiful brand new stadium that they just opened up this year. And so we've been hitting up a lot of games there. And we were leaving a game a few weeks ago My wife was in the women's room and I had to kill about 5 minutes waiting for her. So it's a crazy world we're living in with 5 minutes to spare out in a soccer stadium in a crowd. Pulled up my phone, looked at my eBay saved searches, and one that I had a couple of hits on it for Alex Ovechkin exclusives parallels, numbered to 100. A seller put 2 of them up at a very reasonable buy it now, to where I didn't even play around with an offer. I just bought both of them immediately. And yeah, within the 5 minutes that my wife was getting ready to leave and using ladies' room, I had added these 2 to my collection from 2007, 2008. Love this image. And this is also the rainbow foil year or era of these exclusives parallels, numbered to 100, as I mentioned, and as they always are, down in the lower right there. Sorry for the glare and the lack of focus. But this was also his biggest season ever. He scored 65 goals to pace the league. I love this card so much. It's a 3rd-year OV and represents his most effective offensive year. And that's pretty important for the guy who is the all-time leading goal scorer in the history of the NHL now. So really dig this one. I have a printing plate version. And this is now my 3rd exclusives, numbered to 100. So I have 3% of the print run on this parallel. And then that same seller also had the 2010, 2011. They had transitioned over to gold foil at this point. And I do prefer the rainbow foil, but what a great photograph there of Ovi doing exactly what he's known for. And yeah, the seller, they could have done much better with these, in my opinion. I was able to get the pair of these for under $50 combined, and that includes tax and shipping to my door. Not only that, but he sent them in these brand new top loaders with sleeves on them and everything, nice and clean. So these will get dropped right in the collection. I love duplicates, especially of cards that I'm a big believer in. And on the hockey front, does not get much better than Alex Ovechkin. So happy to add these, and I'll give them some time up in the background here as well. Great foil effect on those. Just big fan of those cards. I will continue to buy Alex Ovechkin Upper Deck exclusives at the right price. And then I've got a couple more here. This one was an omission, and then we're going to get to the care package in a second. I talked recently when I showed off a card from my buddy Scott over at Reindeer Studios that I had completed the Marker Doodle Mondays run that he did over these last 2 years. And that is true, but I forgot to show this one off, the Roberto Clemente. So this was the one prior to the Shoeless Joe, which was the final card issued. So I'll be filing this one away with the Shoeless Joe. And now I truly have a complete, intact run of Reindeer Studios Marker Doodle Mondays trading cards, all numbered to 50 or lower. And once again, Scott, if you see this, just fantastic job with that series. Really enjoyed collecting those. And now we're going to close out the video with a couple of Negro Leagues related cards, and that's also going to be a great transition into the care package. So let me start with this one here. Really cool one. This is from the Panini Immaculate Collection release in 2023. This is the Cool Papa Bell Game Used Bat Relic, numbered to 25. And again, apologies for the lack of focus and the glare, but I think this is copy 16 of 25. I don't really get into relic cards very much, but obviously I've been looking at a lot of Cool Papa Bell stuff over the last year or two as I've gotten into the Negro Leagues and their history, and I found this card compelling, and I was able to find 2 copies of this that were available for just $25 each, like literally the cost of a retail blaster. So I sent one to my buddy Josh, known as Peeps or Peeps Wax Packs here on YouTube, because I owed him a $25 card for a little friendly bet that we had done over our Premier League fantasy soccer league that we both participated in this past season. Josh won the league. I finished second, so I sent him a $25 cardboard prize, and I went with this card because I know, like me, he appreciates the history of the Negro Leagues and bridge players. And on that note, the package that I want to show today came in from Josh. And it actually features 3 Negro Leagues cards. So Josh and I are also in a fantasy baseball league together. In fact, the only fantasy sports I've really ever participated in my life are a result of my friendship with Josh. And so we're going to face each other 3 times this season. And we made a bet at the outset of the season that the loser in each of those 3 matchups would send the winner $10 worth of kind of random cardboard. So Josh won the first game. I took my lumps. I sent him off his $10 prize. I was able to win the second game, and he has now sent me my prize. So it came with this great note. Shane, congrats on the big win. The rubber game remains, meaning game 3. Shoebox 295, High Cheese, which is Josh's team, 216. So I put the whooping on Josh in this week. However, I will say our rubber match concluded a day or two ago, and Josh did take it to me to take the series 2-1 in our fantasy season. So anyway, Josh sent 3 cards along that all fit the theme of the Negro Leagues. And check out this one to start. The 1953 Bowman Color Hector Rodriguez. This is a card that I've shown before. I have only a graded copy of it, but I love this beautiful ungraded copy. It's in great condition, very clean, bold color. And I think sometimes my memory gets a little fuzzy when things are long enough in the rearview mirror, but I believe this might be like his only professional card. I want to say he had kind of a short cup of tea in the majors after having played in the Negro Leagues. So he is a bridge player, and this is right up my alley. Josh, as much as or maybe more than anyone, has contributed to and increased my appreciation of the bridge players and that whole concept. So getting these 3 cards from him is just an absolute treat. Next up, we have a buyback, and this is one that I was just so pumped to see. I have never previously owned the Bill Bruton from 1964 Topps. Of course, he was also a bridge player beginning his career in the Negro Leagues. And I've had a save search for buybacks of a lot of these bridge players for a few years now, but I've never been able to acquire this one. And I have a whole sprawling section in my Negro Leagues Z Folio that features cards of bridge players in buyback format. And this one has a perfect spot incoming on the page, ready for it. And I'll be showing it again when I show that binder later on this year. And then lastly, another one that's going into the Negro Leagues binder as well, a 58 Topps Joe Taylor. I do have pages for the different vintage sets that feature bridge players, and I have a whole page of 58s and 58 related cards, and I had one empty slot. And believe it or not, I had sent Josh a picture of that page in progress because I knew he would appreciate it. And he, let me know, maybe hold off on buying that last 58 to fill it out because I think I can help you out. And here it is in the form of this amazing and even well-centered Joe Taylor. So 2 of these going right into the Negro Leagues Z Folio, and then the Hector Rodriguez will be much appreciated as well. And then I've got 2 cards to close it out here that were pickups of my own. Found this George Crow along the same vein with a bridge player buyback here. In this case from the 1960 Topps release, which I don't see as many buybacks from. So this one is also going into that Negro League Z Folio, just a page or 2 away from that Bill Bruton. Picked this up for $3 with $1 shipping when it turned up in my saved search recently. It was an instant buy it now smash to get this for $4 shipped. And then the last card is going to be one that's familiar to many of you, and I'm long overdue in showing it. I was overdue in picking up my copy, but I'm glad that I finally did, and I'm overdue in showing it off as well. But I got the Martin Dihigo done by my best friend and yours, Scott, over at Reindeer Studios. If you have not picked up one of these yet, I cannot recommend it enough. Go over to reindeerstudios.com, Scott's brand new website. You can buy this card for $10. And not only is it just incredibly gorgeous and well done, one of my favorite pieces of art that I have seen Scott do, period. But your purchase, the proceeds from it, will go to a good cause. All of the funds that Scott makes, or the profit that Scott makes from this card, is being donated to cancer research and sort of in honor of our mutual friend Orlando over at A Collector's Dream. So a great card for a great cause. And just like the last few that we looked at, this one is headed directly to the Negro League Z Folio at the conclusion of today's video. So that's a wrap. Went even a little bit longer than normal today, coming up on 20 minutes, but I appreciate your time if you stuck it out with me. Really enjoying the hobby here as always. I hope you are as well. I'll be back soon. And until then, take care.